If I knew these five things before I took my first test, my journey would have been way easier. But I do not want you to struggle with the things I have struggled with. I want your journey to be smooth, easy, and a quick one. I want you to get your desired scores without much struggles and in the very first go in the shortest time period possible. If you're planning to take the PT test, make sure you watch this video till the end so that you can learn from my mistakes and get your desired scores in the very first go. When I scored my perfect 90 back in 2017, PT was not that popular, honestly. There were not a lot of practice platforms. I used to practice on a pen and paper. Knowledge about PT, about shortcuts, about hacks was limited. I struggled a bit, I made a lot of mistakes, but I don't really want you to face the same struggle and I don't really want you to make the same mistakes as well. So, in this video, I am going to tell you five things which I wish I knew when I was preparing for my first PT test. I'll be telling everything honestly so that you get the insights out of it and you get your desired scores in the very first go. The first thing which I struggled with was understanding the marking criteria. PT is an integrated test. One module will help you with the other module as well. For example, speaking is going to give you a lot of points in listening. Listening is going to give you points in writing. So, one thing which I found extremely difficult was marking criteria. I want you to understand the marking criteria and I want you to understand what is important and what is not. Remember, we'll go task by task. Read aloud will only give you points in speaking, not that important. Repeat sentence extremely important, speaking and listening. This is going to give you points in speaking and listening. Describe image will give you points in speaking, but very important. Retell lecture will give you points in speaking and listening, both extremely important. Answer short questions only in listening, not that important. Summarize group discussion, speaking and listening extremely important. Respond to situation, only speaking. Summarize written text, writing and reading extremely important. Writing essay, only writing extremely important. From reading, you've got five question types. All of these will only give you points in reading. Reading blanks, drag and drop down extremely important. Reorder paragraph, average importance. MCQ multiple, slightly important. MCQ single, not important. Listening, summarize spoken text, listening and writing. This will give you points in listening and writing, extremely important. MCQ multiple, only in listening, bit important. Listening, fill in the blanks, important, only in listening. Highlight correct summary, listening and reading, bit important. MCQ single, select missing word, only in listening, not important. Highlight incorrect words in listening and reading, extremely important. And then write from dictation will give you points in listening and writing, and this is extremely important. So you need to work on these accordingly. Performance in one module is going to impact your scores in the other. So understand the marking criteria, understand what is important, and then only go for your test. This was the first thing I wish I knew when I took my first test. Next thing is using the templates. Honestly, in 2017, templates were not common. No one had really researched in depth about PT, and I also used to treat PT as an English test, any other English test, and I used to be very logical with my answers. For summarized written text, I used to write actual summaries of the passage. But after 2017, I've got 19 all the modules 13 times, and every time I've used the templates. And based on my experience, based on my research, even taking into account the recent changes by PT, you can use templates. You should be going for the templates, but you should not be blindly following the templates. You need to understand what the templates are, what is meant by the sentences in the templates, and how you have to integrate and use the content in the template from the given question type so that you can get your desired scores. It's a big yes for you to use the templates, but before using, please give yourself some time to understand what the templates are, what do they actually mean, how you have to relate those to the question, and how you have to add relevant content, and you'll be fine. Please make sure you have all the structures in place. I have recently made template video for all the different question types for summarize group discussion, respond to situation. I'll attach the link to those particular videos in the description box. You can go and get those templates as well. Now that was point number two, or thing number two, I wish I knew. Let's jump on to number three, which is still relevant till date: time management in reading. When I used to practice reading while preparing for my test, I used to spend a lot of time on reading drop down blanks. I used to find them difficult. I wanted to make sure everything's perfect. But I used to spend around 17 minutes on five questions, and then I was running out of time on reading drag and drop blanks. And honestly, reading drag and drop blanks I found easier. And I thought, let's put more time on reading drop down blanks. I will manage the drag and drop blanks. But you have to be practical. If you cannot solve a particular blank in, let's say, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you'll not be able to get the right answer even after 10 minutes. Even after 10 minutes, you'll be confused. But in order to get that one blank correct, you will miss out on multiple blanks which are going to come in the passages afterwards. I want you to have a plan in place. Reading drop down blanks, you have to spend maximum of 2 to 2.5 minutes per passage. Then MCQ multiple, maximum 40 seconds. Reading reorders, maximum 2 minutes. Reading drag and drop blanks, 2 minutes should be okay, maximum 2.5 minutes. And MCQ single is the last question of this particular module. In this module, you'll have an overall time with no rollover time. Let's say if you finish this particular module 6 minutes before the time ends, right? You'll not get extra 6 minutes in the next module. So whatever time you're left with at the end of this particular module for MCQ single answers, use complete full time to get this one correct, but manage your time properly throughout the reading module, and this will significantly help you boosting your scores and controlling your nervousness and helping you being more confident in the test. Now, after time management, the next thing which I was really confused about and I want you to be careful about, thing number four or fact number four, which I used to struggle with, is fluency is about speaking fast. I used to think if you speak fast in PT, you'll get 90. That used to be the case. Honestly, when PT was introduced, if you used to speak anything irrelevant as well and speak faster, even if you were not clear, everyone used to get 19 PT in speaking, especially. But that is not the case anymore. I can tell you based on my recent tests, which I've taken where I've got 90, on all my experience teaching thousands of students, fluency is not about being fast. It's not that if you speak fast, you'll get the scores. And nowadays, pronunciation has a higher weightage or more weightage as compared to fluency. Doesn't matter how fluent you are, if you're not clear, you'll not get the scores. So if you want to get your desired scores in the PT speaking module, your primary focus should be on clarity. You need to focus on clarity. You need to make sure each and every word you pronounce is clear, and along with that, you have to speak in a flow. Fluency is not about your speed, fluency is about your flow. You speak in a natural flow, you take natural pauses, you avoid unnatural pauses, hesitations, and self corrections, you'll be fine. So, PT speaking is about speaking in a natural flow, taking natural pauses, and avoiding any kind of unnatural pauses. And then your priority should be on your pronunciation, means you have to focus on speaking clearly and you will be fine. Last thing number five, which I wish I had access to or I knew when I took my first test in 2017, is taking full mock test. Back in 2017, there were limited options of taking full mock tests. There were limited platforms, no apps at all, and it was pretty hard. And I underestimated the importance of mock tests. I just used to practice, and I thought, no, it should be okay. A week or 2 weeks before my test, I remember, I felt, I'll be nervous when I go for the test, and that is where mock tests really helped me. I really want you to take at least 3 to 4 full mock tests. And it's not just about taking the mock test, it's more about taking the mock test and having a look at what mistakes you have made. And then when you take the next mock test, you have to make sure you don't repeat the same. Because whatever mistakes you make in the mock test over here, you're likely to make the same mistakes in the actual test as well. So expose yourself to the mock test. Put yourself in the same exam like environment, right? So that you take out your nervousness, you're more confident, you know time management when you actually go for the test, and you perform better. I always say PT is just a performance test. Doesn't matter how well you're prepared, if you do not perform in those 2 hours, you're out. So I want you to be prepared for the big day. It's easy. If I've scored 90 14 times, honestly, when I go for the test, there are words I don't know the meaning of. There are reading blanks I find difficult. I do get words which I'm not really sure about spellings. I get confused a number of times in the test. But what I know is what the system is looking for. And that is what I want you to know as well. Make sure you take 3 to 4 full mock tests at least. Evaluate your performance after every mock test. See what mistakes you have made. Note those down. Before you take the next mock test, look at those mistakes and then take another mock test. 3 to 4 mock tests, you'll be well prepared, you'll be confident, and you'll be able to give your 100% to crack this test in the very first go. And that was the last point which I wanted to mention in this video. Now, I really want you to not repeat or not struggle with things I have struggled with. I want you to take it easy, be confident, follow the templates, understand the marking criteria. Don't just focus on your speed in speaking. Understand what is important, what is not, and take as many mock tests before you actually go for the test so that you are well prepared before your test and you get your desired scores in the very first go. You all need to remember this thing that everyone will make mistakes. If you ask me to take any mock test now, I'll not get full points out of it. No. And if you are taking any mock test and if you're making mistakes, don't stress. Just learn from it and move on. Smart learners are people who learn from others' mistakes. And that is what I want you to do as well. Learn from doubts, misconceptions, issues I had when I prepared for my first PT test, and you'll be fine. I genuinely want you to get your desired scores and not to waste your time and money. And if you follow everything I mentioned in my videos, I am pretty confident you'll be able to crack it. This all comes after teaching thousands of students, having taught PT for the last 8 to 9 years, and researching a lot. Whatever I tell you in my videos is proven, research backed, and I spend a lot of time on making sure you do not struggle with your PT and get your desired scores in the shortest time period possible without wasting any of your money. Now that's it from this video. I hope the video was helpful. If it was, do like, share, and subscribe. That is something which will help the channel grow and will help this video reach more audience and will keep me motivated as well. If you ever get your desired scores watching my videos, do let me know. That is something I work for and that is something which will keep me going on. If you need any help with online classes, on campus classes, anything, we have got everything 12 to 13 sessions running every day online according to different time zones. Just give us a call, send us a message. We will be with you and we will give 100% to help you out, like we have helped more than 50,000 students till date. Now, what you can do is you can go and register on languageacademy.com.au and start practicing. You can take one free full scored mock test over there, 4 sectional mock tests, and 4 extensive mock tests as well. Everything's updated and it's pretty close to what happens in the actual test. Go and register on languageacademy.com.au or download the LAPT exam practice app.